Alright, so with Nova Prime and Trinity Prime leaving by the end of the month, I thought that I should make a little Helmuth video for anybody who just wants to play Nova but wants to see the better side of her. So this is a Helmuth inspired Zero Forma Pillage Nova. This will allow for her to negate status effects, constant remain with constant overshields, and drain enemies' armor. You can also somewhat nuke, even though it's steel path, and I'll show you a bit on that. But with that out the way, I think we should consist of the abilities, like always. So let's get into the first one. So for Nova's first ability, we have Null Stars. Null Stars does two things, basically. First of all, depending on your duration, you will get a certain amount of little orbs circling Nova. These orbs can stack up with damage reduction, capping out at 90%. You would basically need max duration. You might want to have this on it as long as possible, because you actually need to keep this for her survivability. It will extremely up her survivability, and with the augments, you can keep your Null Stars active, even though they're gonna seek out enemies. Alright, so next we have Antimatter Drop. This ability will actually do a good thing in Nova's kit. First of all, Antimatter Drop will create a orb that will accumulate all damage stored or shot at it. From there, once it touches a surface, it will then be multiplied into a blast. You cannot change the multiplication, but you can change how much base damage it has. The orb can always only take a certain amount of damage, and if you mix this with something like a Vectus sniper rifle, like I'm doing, you will get proper results with it. Alright, so we took this out for Wormhole. This ability is Pillage, Hildren's second ability. This ability will do a series of things. First of all, once casted, it will send out a wave that all enemies within the area, this has a very good target detecting system, will then be nerfed of their armor and shields once in the radius, and from there it will remove all status effects from you or the Warframe, and will also give you overshields back once the duration is over, or when you press the cast ability again. So this ability is actually very important for survivability and DPS. I like to use it with something like my Antimatter Drop, because it strips the armor so much that it allows for proper damage numbers. And yeah, you could use a grouping ability, but you have to remember, enemies are slowed even when they are being grouped in, so it will take a long time. But with that out the way, let's get into the last ability. Alright, so what makes Nova so special? Molecular Prime. This ability is actually not that bad and is very good. What this does is that, depending on your power strength, will actually reduce the amount of speed the enemy has when they're moving, shooting, and when they fall down. Basically all movements. From there, they will become weakened, and when they die, they will explode, dealing a certain amount of blast damage. You can use this to up her survivability, and also use this together to form the perfect pillage build, making them so weakened that Antimatter Drop just completely demolishes the crowds. And yeah, you can use it with the augment so that every time you get a kill, you get 2 null stars back. That's how I'm maintaining mine. And yeah, so now that we have the Warframe abilities out the way, let's get into the builds. Okay, so this is my Vectus build. I have Serration for the damage. My Riven comes with multi-shot, heat, and damage. I have heat damage for the added damage, then I have Vital Sense for the crit damage. Stormbringer for the extra damage, and that forms radiation. Then I have Split Chamber for the multi-shot, Point Strike for the crit chance, and Hammer Shot for the crit damage and status chance. This is also my Eidolon hunting build, but honestly you just need damage. Okay, so now let's move on to the next build. So for the next build, we have the Legion. Condition Overload for the damage per status effect on the target. My Legion Riven comes with crit chance, damage, and cold damage minus attack speed. And the Legion special ability gives it extra toxin, forming viral, drifting contact for the extra combo duration, primed pressure point for the added damage, prime smite corrupted, or any other prime smite mods for extra damage to faction, 3 times the slash, gladiator might, and organ shatter for the 90% crit damage, and blood rush for the crit chance per combo multiplier. You can also use this to just abuse the block stances. Alright, so now, the reason you're here, the Nova Prime build. We have Loot Detector in the Aura. You can replace this for anything else, but I use this because I also like to farm for loot. Transit Fortitude for the power strength. Molecular Fusion so that we can keep our null stars up. Streamline for the efficiency. I have Argar Accord for the shield. This is more shield than health. Intensify for the extra power strength. You can use Umbral, but I like to keep it in a little low. I didn't want it too high because then I felt like the enemies were too slow. Narrow-minded for the extra duration, minus range so that the null stars don't seek out every enemy in the way. Adaptation for the damage reduction to status effects, which is what keeps my shields up all the time. Hunter Adrenaline, so that if I do take health damage, I get energy back. But you can take this out for anything. Arcane Barrier, so that I get my shields back if I take too much damage, or if I do take damage to shields. And then Arcane Momentum, to get more reload speed for the Vectus Prime. And yeah, that is the deconstructed build for the extra crit chance. And yeah, this will be the Nova Prime setup. I hope you guys like it. If you do, make sure to like and comment for feedback. I always like to improve. Don't be shy. If you want to see more, subscribe for more. Turn on notifications so that you don't miss out any future videos. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully a mag video, which will have insane scaling damage.
I played it in a sense, a feel of discontent.